Fear Not Tarantulas, where beauty has 8 legs. This place is located at 4291 Holland Road in Virginia Beach, Virginia 23452. Their phone number is 757-657-8113. And they have the website fearnottarantulas.com. Their email is info@fearnottarantulas.com. And discover the joy of spidering. Okay, so I was actually on my way to the Organic Depot to do a gig, and I missed my turn, and I went into this little shopping center, and I saw a place that said Fear Not Tarantulas, where beauty has 8 legs. And you know, maybe it wouldn't have been significant to me, but my, you know, of course my reticular activating system was on the lookout, because I was concerned about making sure that my jumping spider was able to get enough moisture, you know, to drink. And so I thought when I saw that, of course, you know, I was already on high alert for something like that. So I stopped in, and I'm glad that I did, because there was a very friendly associate there named Pearce, and she was extremely knowledgeable about spiders, at least, you know, to me, who, you know, the most I know about them is just from a lifetime of experience of always being fascinated by spiders and catching them and releasing them, and, you know, trying to keep these massive pan-tropical huntsmen that I used to, you know, find in Florida as pets. And, you know, they were wild and they were huge, some of them as big as my hand. And I used to think they were wolf spiders, because they look very similar to some wolf spiders. But so Pearce, she was very knowledgeable and very friendly, very helpful. She talked to me, indulged in my stories about how I came to, you know, to decide that I was going to have a jumping spider as a pet. And there's a video actually on YouTube about me releasing the jumping spider that I found on the hood of my car. I'll put the link to that YouTube video in the show notes for this podcast. And so, yeah, I mean, it was just a really great place. And there, you know, enclosures with tarantulas everywhere. They had a nice big fish tank on the wall. I wasn't really paying attention to the whatever aquatic life was in there, but it's a nice cozy little spot. You know, I've been in this area passing through a lot and just have never seen it. As far as I know, there's no really prominent signage for the place out front, but for people who are, you know, arachnid enthusiasts, and I'm only gonna have to assume this is correct, specifically tarantulas, should go ahead and stop in that place, especially if you're either passing through or in Virginia Beach. Maybe if you're, if you're like me, if you travel with your 8-legged friend. But definitely a place to check out. I've learned they have, I mean, I saw some really cool enclosures in there that have these magnetic, you know, magnetic locking mechanisms, or fastening, I should say, because they're not locks, they just kind of fasten it so that the doors and the sliding openings snap into place. Great selection of enclosures. I was given a solution. Pearce got me a nice little baggie of moss to put into one side of the enclosure, and, you know, spray it with some water so that my jumping spider, you know, can quench her thirst. And just an all around, some places just have a really great vibe. That place just has a really great vibe. It's got a great mood inside there. The lighting is not overbearing, and I suppose, of course, that might be, of course, in part to make a spidery, habitat or spidery atmosphere for the arachnids that reside in there. But all around, just the mood. There's no loud, blaring music or anything crazy. It totally different than, of course, a big box pet store. And they're pet stores. There's no issue with them, but completely different vibe than, let's say, Pet Supplies Plus, where I got the jumping spider from, or what do we call it? Pet. What is the other one called? Pets. I forget. Petco or Pets. That's another one. Petco. But there's another one I'm thinking of. PetSmart. So definitely just a completely different vibe. But it's an independent place. I think that Pearce mentioned that it was first started in maybe the garage or something like that of the owner, and maybe it was online at first, and then they got the brick and mortar location. So it's nice. It's definitely got a local vibe, and you can feel the presence in there. And like I said, Pearce, she seems to really know her stuff. She was really knowledgeable. I was asking her about different spiders, and she was able to really give me some solid answers on stuff. I learned about some different things that I could feed, my jumping spider, which, by the way, in the couple of months that I've had her, I haven't given her a name. So I got to come up with a name for her, right? I suppose that's conventional, but I kind of, what just reminded me of like how John Wick had a dog and never gave it a name. So I don't know, maybe it's just Spider, jumping spider. I don't know if I need to be conventional and give her a name. But yeah, all praises to Fear Not Tarantulas. It's got a cool name, nice little subtitle, where beauty has 8 legs, and again, just a very welcoming, really great environment. When I first went in, Pearce, she was working on a habitat that she was setting up for a gentleman who was also a traveler, and she set up an enclosure for him that he bought from there, and she was setting up all of the different shrubbery inside there, and she was instructing him on how to feed and what to do, and just right in front of my face, I was just seeing a live demonstration of their expertise and just the care and detail that is given to and I'm going to say also the people's furry family, because these my jumping spider is very furry, and cute thing about her is that right in the center of I say her butt, but that's not the scientific term for it, but she has a perfectly shaped heart on it. So I think that's actually quite interesting, that she's got a perfectly shaped heart on her little spider booty. So very, very, she's beautiful. She's super chill. It's crazy, like how it's interesting how you can develop an emotional bond to something, and she doesn't even necessarily show me any kind of, there's no reciprocal, reason to bond with an arachnid, except that I just feel I have this urge to make sure that she's okay. Like when I first came across there was a jumping spider, like I said about the video earlier that's on YouTube, that I'll put a link to it that you can check out, is me finding there was a jumping spider on the hood of my car, and I didn't know it was at first, and then I captured it and then re-released it. Is I didn't want, I didn't want to kill it or hurt it. There was no urge in me to do that. I just wanted to make sure it was okay. It was on the hood of my car. I'm doing like 40, 45 miles an hour, and this thing is clinging for dear life on the car. So when I finally got back to where I was parked at my sister's house, I decided to release it, because I don't even know how or why it got onto the hood of the car. I don't know if I should have kept it, but at the time I just didn't know. I wasn't really in the mindset for it. But then spiders just started coming out of the woodworks everywhere. They were showing up in my car and everywhere. I don't know if it was also because it was in the fall and there was something going on with, the fact that various different insects were, there's something about their behavior that they were preparing for. Because I do remember seeing all kinds of other critters, like in the road, and like all these caterpillars and various different things I saw happening with birds and caterpillars and all kinds of other wildlife, specifically bugs and insects and arachnids. So it might have had something to do with that it was just the time of year. But I ended up seeing this particular jumping spider after all of these what seemed like patterns and coincidences happening with all these spiders, and so I decided to give her a home with me. And I don't know, there's just something about caring for her and making sure she gets her crickets to feed on, and making sure she's got moisture and she's well fed and has water to drink, and just watching her make her little tents, her little canopies of spider web, and just chilling. And I just want to look at her every once in a while and make sure she's okay. It's an interesting thing. We as human beings can bond with almost anything, and I think that says more about maybe being human and some of the biological and biochemical and neurochemical things that go on with us. And I was thinking about this the other day, about the urge to love, and sometimes people, there's all kinds of different love, but I feel like that urge to love has a lot to do with something that is innately within us, whether people want to call it biological or not. Some people want to just say it's spiritual, and they don't consider that the things that we feel spiritually or emotionally are connected to our bodies. A lot of people think that they're separate. I have the understanding that it's not. But what I also understand is that there's this urge to love and care and to nurture things. And we are simply out here seeking an outlet for that. And part of the seeking an outlet for that, especially, if you're looking for a partner, romantic partner or a life partner, the whole process is we already have that innate built-in drive to love and nurture and care and support and adore. But the task is filtering out and selecting the right person to do that with, because some folks just don't handle being loved, and they don't know how to be loved, and just how to even just deal with other people in an amicable and mutually affectionate way. If somehow, because of trauma and other experiences in life, people tend to be, abusive and deceptive and just a lot of dysfunctional stuff going on, but we have that innate drive to love, and that's, I suppose, one of the things that's happened with my affection for my spider friend. And oh, interestingly, I'm about to publish another book which really goes deep into how, you know, life experience and things like that, specifically based on our sense of hearing, the auditory channel, the eighth cranial nerve pair, and how that really just hardwires a lot of learning into our nervous system, and is one of the primary ways for us to be educated. And based on some of my experience with the 4 basic language skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and it's definitely a game-changing text that is meant to educate and also be a piece of therapeutic reading. So that is something to look out for. Hopefully I'll be done with it in the next couple of days here. But it's, you know, it takes a lot of work. However, I just want to again, you know, sing the praises of Fear Not Tarantulas, where beauty has 8 legs. A great spot for you to go find various different accessories, and maybe even find your own furry 8-legged friend. A great spot. Big props and much appreciation to Pearce, who was at the front of house today and was very, very helpful, very engaging, friendly, provided lots of great information, and gave me a great solution to keep my spider friend with the heart in her butt hydrated. So all around great place, highly recommended. And I did give the address in the beginning of this. I'm trying not to. I'm actually driving right now, as I usually do when I attempt to make these podcasts, but I have a little spot to pull over real quick, so I'm going to give their address and all their information again, and then close this out. So again, it's Fear Not Tarantulas, where beauty has 8 legs, at 4291 Holland Road, Virginia Beach, Virginia 23452. The number is 757-657-8113. info@fearnottarantulas.com, and of course the website fearnottarantulas.com. So discover the joy of spidering. Yep, that's good. So until next time, y'all, stay well.